I think Alyssa might be in the car right now, headed down from Fayetteville to North Little Rock for today's I was about to say Travs game since it's Dickey Stevens Park, and for some reason that was stuck in my head, even though it's been 8 years. Are you in the car, Alyssa?
I just actually got out of the car. I have arrived at Casa de la DJ Williams, where we're staying tonight in Little Rock, and getting ready to get things going for the game. But I did just get out of the car about 5 minutes ago, so you're close.
No Airbnb, no hotel. It's everybody crashes at DJ's place?
DJ is our Airbnb. If we stayed in a hotel or in an Airbnb and not at DJ's house, he would be so sad. He loves entertaining and hosting. He is a great host.
Well, that's outstanding. All right, so I mean, this is going to be fun tonight. I mean, and the football game that Arkansas plays here, not even semi-annually now, is the thing that draws the not controversy, but it's the thing that draws arguments. None of this stuff ever happens with basketball and with baseball. These are just big events, and they're always sellouts, and it's a different crowd than we're used to.
Yeah. It really is. I was looking because Dave Van Horn was talking about the crowds in Little Rock in a soundbite we're going to run later today on our shows. But I went back and I pulled the last time they were here, which was 2019 against Grambling, and looked at some of these crowd shots, and I just went, oh, my gosh, that's right. It was packed. It was packed with people. People love coming to baseball games. It's going to be beautiful baseball weather. But you're absolutely right. Like, this is just an opportunity to see Arkansas play, a top 10 team right now in the country, and these Central Arkansas fans deserve to see these teams once a year, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and it's cool that they're playing an in-state school here. I mean, they've never played against an in-state school in Dickey Stevens Park, which is closer to UCA, of course, than it is to anything in Northwest Arkansas. And, I mean, we kind of laugh a little bit because Arkansas has just blown everybody out that they've played out of conference, including 21-9 over UCA, and somebody will hit for the cycle, of course. UCA's won 6 straight ASUN series, Alyssa. Like, this legitimately could be a team that you have to face in a Fayetteville Regional.
Sure, absolutely. And I was actually going to ask you, Phil, you think we could go 3 for 3 and have someone else hit for the cycle tonight? That would be fun, possibly. But I think that, this might give it a little bit more excitement if UCA can make this a ball game. I think the only thing about these games in the past, outside of that Little Rock game they lost a couple of years ago, and the A-State games were a little competitive at times, is the competitive level of it. And you don't want it, if you're a Razorback fan, you don't want it to be too competitive, and you don't want to lose the game, but you don't want it to be a 21-9 game either. Maybe have some fun and make it like a 8-4 kind of game or something exciting. But I think you're right. I mean, Dave Van Horn even mentioned, look, it's hard to get my guys excited about games like this when you're in the middle of SEC play. You just lost to Texas A&M. You're about to host Ole Miss, and now we got to go play UCA on the road. But if this is a team that they could see in a regional come tournament time, DVH has got to be like, guys, you got to wake up. Like, this team is an NCAA tournament team, and we got to respect them just like we respect anybody in our conference. So hopefully we get a good matchup tonight.
Oh, listen, obviously this game's not being televised due to the fact that it just seems to be in North Little Rock. You can't televise anything. I did see a number thrown out there that it would cost Arkansas $40,000 to broadcast this thing individually. Now, is that $40,000 if they wanted to broadcast one game, or would that be to fix all of the broadcasting issues in North Little Rock to where that if they played a basketball game there next year, that $40,000 would cover it? Or is it like $40,000 each time? Do you know?
Yeah, I don't know. But I would assume it would be to have the setup so that it could regularly be televised. It would be $40,000 to do so. It doesn't take much these days to get a production going. Because of the accessibility that the SEC Network Plus and all of those streaming services have given. But it does cost money, obviously, to crew and man and get things wide. Like, a lot of these places aren't wired, like, technology-wise to be able to do something like that. So that's where a lot of your money is. I mean, you forget in 2014 when the SEC Network launched, all these schools had to invest money to just be able to support technology to get these broadcasts done. And that takes some time. That takes a lot of engineers and wiring all of these arenas. And I think it would be a fantastic investment because, and obviously would pay off in the long term, but, then you might have to consider playing here more than once a year. And I don't know if Arkansas wants to do that. So I think it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know the answer to your question.
All right. Well, you bring up the fact that, all these facilities had to be upgraded to be televised. And now, it doesn't matter where you are in the world with ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus, and so many other streaming services, you can watch pretty much any game that is being played. How much do you think that it's actually helped grow college athletics, having every single game every single game broadcast?
I think it's grown tenfold. I don't necessarily think, like football, for example, football wasn't really impacted much. It's great to be able to see games, but football games were mostly on TV anyways. I think if you were to look at sports like baseball, like softball, women's basketball, soccer, those are the sports that are growing the most from the impact of these streaming services and being able to be a televised game, even if you do have to watch it on SEC Network Plus. Those eyeballs are making these sports more exciting. They're getting more attention. You're seeing clips on social media. Those are the sports that are being mostly impacted in a positive way in terms of growth, I think, since these networks have launched, SEC Network in 2014 and what have you.
Mm-hmm. And you bring up softball as one of those sports that's been impacted, and it's definitely helped. I think the news of the day, the fact that softball is getting the team-wide NIL deal. For people that haven't seen it, I'm asking you because I know Pig Trail Nation was one of the first people to report about it on Twitter today. Kind of explain that to our listeners and how big of an actual deal it is.
Look, just in terms of numbers, we have seen NIL deals for Devo Davis. We saw it yesterday with Bobby Bones, for example. We have seen NIL deals with Bumper Pool. We've seen NIL deals with Connor Nolan. We've seen NIL deals with, the O-line of the football team. But no one has had an NIL deal with an entire team. That's not just the starting lineup. That's not just your pitching staff or your infield or your outfielders or Danielle Gibson. This is the entire team have the option. That they don't have to accept it. I don't know why you wouldn't. But an entire team has NIL deals now with Everett Buick GMC, and that's huge. And it speaks volumes that this is the first one, maybe I think in Division I softball, maybe in the country, that they have a NIL deal with an entire team. And it's a women's athletics. It's softball. It's huge for the sport. It's huge for NIL. And as a woman, it's just really exciting to see Arkansas softball get this recognition that they deserve. Because I'm sorry, they went on the road and just swept Florida and Gainesville, which is not easy to do. You ask anyone in the SEC, anyone in college softball who's gone to Gainesville and played the caliber of a program that Florida has, to be able to sweep them at home. You now lead the SEC in the standings at 14-4 in league play, and you're the number 5 team in the country. Quite frankly, they could easily be the number 2, 3, or 4 team, in my opinion, as well. It speaks volumes, and it's so cool. And this is what NIL is about. This is where you look and you say, okay, it's not just, hey, we're going to throw a bunch of money at the biggest recruit and get them to come to campus. This is saying we're rewarding athletes for their performances on the field with an NIL deal, and because they deserve it and they deserve the recognition. And I just think it's fantastic. And I was super pumped when I got that email today in my inbox.
We've got Coach Deifel on the show at 12:30 today, Alyssa, and they're just such a great story, and there's too many to focus on, just at one time. We just look at the overall arc of the program under Coach Deifel and, how the transfers that have come in this year have solidified a team that already was really good. And, they're, I'm connected to baseball so much, and so I focus on that. But there's no team on campus right now that is any hotter. And I'm talking about basketball, football, anything than Arkansas softball right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just unreal what Courtney Deifel has done and the staff has done and the talent that has come in. And when they were about to play Kentucky, she was joking because Kentucky is also a softball program that's been on the rise lately. And she joked and made a comment. She was like, I was Arkansas's default hire, too. And I kind of was like, I don't know what that means. But can you just imagine, like, joking that you were the default hire after Mike Larrabee was fired and you had to bring someone in to try to turn this program around. They won, I think, one SEC game when she first got here her first year from Maryland. And what she's been able to do since she's been here in the last 7 years is just absolutely incredible. Because softball, if you follow it closely, is a sport where that kind of turnaround doesn't happen quickly. You have to build programs from the ground up. It's not like you get a star athlete here and there and you happen to have a really good year like basketball. You have to be able to build this thing and build it the right way. And for her to do it as quickly as she has, I mean, I'm going to use my alma mater as an example, and I hope nobody uses that against me. But Lonnie Alameda was at Florida State when I was in school from 2005 to 2009 when I was in college. She was there. Florida State is now a powerhouse in college softball. They won a national title a few years ago. They competed for a national title last year. It's taken her that long to get this team to where it is right now. Courtney Deifel has done it in about 6 years. It's incredible.
Really is, and we're looking forward to talking at 12:30 about their game against UCA tonight. And they've got a senior day on Sunday, and knowing how this team treats each other, Alyssa, I just don't. They need to have senior day like sponsored by Kleenex. Because they're all about the hugs. It's going to be like every senior day is emotional. I think it's going to be Niagara Falls on Sunday at Bogle.
Yeah. Oh, I no doubt. And that's going to be probably one of the most emotional events you'll ever go to if you end up going to softball this weekend. But tell Courtney I say hello. I mean, she's killing it right now. That's exciting. You guys have her on the show. I love what they do every time they break after a game. They say, give me 2 claps and a suey. Suey! I think it's so fun. So see if you can get Courtney Deifel to do that. 2 claps and a suey on the radio show today.
Well, you got to have a lot of spirit in that sport, no doubt. Alyssa, you got a lot of spirit, too. Appreciate you joining us, and I'll see you at
excited to see you later at the ballpark, Phil.
You got it. That's right. You're going on camera. This face for mate for will go on camera with Alyssa for about 2 minutes or so.
Alyssa, make sure the camera doesn't break.
Oh, come on now.
I can just put a veil over me. It'll work just fine.
Alyssa, we have voices for radio. That's why we're in this business, okay?
Oh, all
the usual radio humor.
What they want.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs, sports info, and odds. Find all the latest sports developments, including this week's odds for the Masters Championship and the start of Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on popular sports and games. BetOnline, where the game starts.